everyone, it is Jazz Cole, and I'm here with another video talking about my experiences with the difference between food culture in Germany versus the United States. So let's get to it. So the number one thing that I noticed all over is that bread is the number one food item. You cannot go anywhere without spotting a bakery. I'm telling you, it's like if you could have like one of those little drinking games where it's like every time you see a bakery, you take a shot, because literally like you will find one everywhere on every corner. It's like basically they have with my first family for breakfast, it was sometimes what we would have is bread, put some butter, Nutella on it, that's breakfast. Put like some bread, put like a little bit of butter on it, and then you would put some like salami on it or something like that, or like with like a little side of like veggies or something, and that was also breakfast. Then later in the evening we would have what we called Abendessenbrot, which means dinner bread. And which is actually, it literally translates to Abendessenbrot, literally translates to evening eating, like evening food bread. Or essen can also be a verb for eating, like to eat. So on that note, it's just basically like they would eat really light before bedtime. So they would just have like it was like kind of like a little buffet. It was like a table. You had your dinner table, and then you would have your bread. You would have like, I think it was like I remember it was like Weizenbrot, which is like white bread. Then there was Opa Wilhelm, which is like more of a darker bread. And they actually had their own machine, like their own deli slicer machine, and they would slice their own bread because they would buy it in like a full loaf. I mean, you can get it cut, like sliced, but they're just like, no, we just get it whole because we can cut it ourselves to our own thickness, how we want it. Even the kids are allowed to actually use it. It was actually funny because they had to use it with supervision. They were 4, but they're like, okay, your hand goes here, and then your hand goes here. Like they're 4 years old, learning how to cut bread on this machine. And then so it's like the rotary is like really fast. You have to make sure that their hands don't touch. And then they were also using like sharp knives as we were cutting potatoes for lunch. And basically they're like to like use 2 hands on the knife to cut it. Don't do this, like, because sometimes people will do that where they're dicing. They're like, no, 2 hands, cut. So bread, yeah, but basically bread is their number one item, and you'll basically see that everywhere. And it's like varieties. It's like, one of my favorite was like, I think it was called a Laufsau. I don't know. I will put that right there. But it's basically it's like kind of like pretzels, and there's like Brötchen, which is like, because Brot is bread, but Brötchen is a little bun. It's like a little piece of bread, kind of like a roll, in the United States, so we would call it. And it was really good. It was really good. I liked that they didn't put a whole lot of salt on it like we do with like, soft pretzels here. So that was nice. You can find all kinds of different things at a bakery depending on like what their specialty is. And then, so the other thing is bratwurst. We didn't really eat that very much. The only time I ate bratwurst was when it was Unity Day. It's like with the 3rd of October, and it's basically where you celebrate the wall, the Wiedervereinigung, which is like basically like the wall like coming down and them being united as Germany as a whole instead of East and West Germany. So that was actually very fascinating, and that was when I actually tried bratwurst for the first time, and they taught us how to eat it properly. Like what you do is you slice it down the middle, and then you have to like fork it out with like because like there's that little like thin like layer of skin or whatever that's over it. You don't eat that. You basically cut it open, and then you like eat out of the meat out of the little shell or whatever you want to call it. And it was actually very I wouldn't say very good. I mean, it was very interesting because I've never tried that kind of meat before. It's like a white sausage basically, and it was I ate it and it was really good, but I wouldn't say like it was like it was different at first. Like now it's like, oh, okay, it's whatever, but you know, I'll eat it. But then trying it for the first time, my taste buds were like, what is this? What is this? So I would say it's not something that people just like eat all the time, because like when we were there, we had Wurst, because Wurst means sausage. So like there were times we would have sliced sausage and we would put it in our potatoes. So you would eat that. You could eat that together, or they'll have like these little Würstchen, so like these little dried sausages. It's like kind of like those little beef jerky sticks, but like it was sausage, and they were like really skinny, and you could just eat it as a snack, because the kids would do that as well. Variety of meats. There's so many, like Wurst, like I just said, there are so many different varieties of sausages, because again, I guess it's just part of the culture. I have no reason to say why they do that. It's just their culture. But yeah, it was just more of like there was Blutwurst, which is like blood sausage, which is like there's a certain type of like, I think like meat that's in it. There's salami. One thing I noticed is that like when you order a pepperoni pizza here, like from Domino's, the Domino's there, you could not get a pepperoni pizza. It was a salami pizza, because salami was like the primary, I think, is a primary meat that they eat. So, or it's a primary cold cut. So, every time you order pizza, it's like, we order salami pizzas. You go to the frozen section and in the grocery store and you want to buy a pizza, there you could find a frozen salami pizza, but you would never find a pepperoni pizza. I think you probably could, but it's just not common, considering the fact that they eat sausage for everything. You know, they eat salami or that kind of cold cut for everything. When my first host family, when their sister came to visit, his sister came to visit from Portugal, because that's where she works now. And the day that she left, we had like a brunch, and there was so many like different types of meat to choose from. There were so many types of bread to choose from. So, you know, you'll see that between bread and meat, that's like the main thing I saw that they ate more than anything else. And I want to talk about attitude towards food. So in the United States, you know, as we know, in many countries compared to the United States, is that our portions are bigger. Like we eat more. You go to McDonald's and you ask for a small, and like that small is like for them, like for Germans would be like kind of like a large, so to say. Portions are a little bit smaller. However, when it comes to attitude towards food, they're very strict. My ex-boyfriend, who was German, he explained to me that they're people of habit, Gewohnheitsmenschen. So they basically are very strict about, okay, we eat this is what we like. They eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at specific times. Breakfast is typically around like between 8 and 10 p.m. 10 a.m. Then you have Mittagessen, Frühstück, Mittagessen, and then there was Abendessen. So there's specific times that they usually will eat dinner. So it's a habit to go home at these times. There's a habit to eat at this time. There's a habit to get hungry at these times, because they're so used to being in that particular schedule. When it comes to kids, they're typically very strict. I remember when I got back from the U.S., the first thing I said was, I just want something carbonated, like a soda. So they didn't drink that really there. My first host family, we drank like mineral water. So it's just like sparkling water almost, but it's like, you know, mineral water. There's like medium mineral water, which is like not as many bubbles. And there's like classic, which is basically like very much like carbonated water, really carbonated. And that was all we drank. And then sometimes we would have like apple juice, and we would pour it in the water. Like we would pour it in, then we would pour like a little bit in the cup, and then we would call it an Apfelschorle, apple spritzer. So it was like you put a little bit of apple juice, and then you'd put a lot of sparkling water, and that was like something you could do. They did combine that with a lot of other drinks, and I even found myself doing that even after I got back, because when you do that, you actually preserve your juice, because juice you get like in this big container, and because we had so much water, and they wanted to emphasize to their kids to drink water more. You would just have like a little bit of juice, but a lot of water. So, and the mom even explained to me, she said, yeah, I want to make sure that my kids don't get like addicted to sugar, versus like on the US where sugar, like it's common to drink energy drinks all the time, obscene amounts of energy drinks sometimes. It's very common to just have like soda, like, because the thing is that we run on like coffee and like things that keep us going, versus for them it's like, yeah, we'll the dad, I remember he used to get I would see him take like a Pepsi Max or like a Red Bull, and that was it, and they would bring like 2 with him, and that was it. So it was just very typical to not eat as much, and that's one of the reasons why they really didn't have much of an overweight problem from what I saw. They did eat really well, but the thing is that they try not to eat so much. Even my ex, he was always talking about how I was like, I can't eat too much food. He's like, I don't want to get fat. It's like, yeah, our parents, like, we typically are very strict with our diets with our kids because we just worry that they're gonna get fatter and fatter and fatter. And it's like, we see it with you guys in the US. Like, you guys have more of an obesity problem than us. And I was just like, but I'm not obese. I get it in a grand scheme, yes, but I'm like, I don't, and because I'm not overweight, so it's just like, I understand. I'm trying to understand like the demographic, if that makes sense, and the psychographic too. So also for snacks, when it comes to kids, they ate primarily fruits, because I remember when they would come back from kindergarten, it was very common in my first family to make them like sliced apples, or like make some pretzel sticks. Like if we had a play date, we would make a little bit more. It would be we would cut more. So apples, cucumbers, because like the kids, like, they love cucumber. My second host family, they really liked paprika, which is like basically like kind of like bell peppers, but they like peppers that would come, and then like they look kind of like in the shape of carrots. You would cut them and you just eat them as is. I never actually ate them. Like, I never ate them before, and so I actually really liked them. So I discovered I really liked it. In those cases, it's just that you kind of understand that like they were very much addicted to vegetables and fruits. Because when we had that brunch with my host family, when their aunt was in town, they were like, oh yeah, like I need to like get a whole bunch of tomatoes and cucumbers on my plate. And that was the first thing that they got on their plate, versus in the US, it's like brownies and cookies and like sweets. Like typically that's what you see with a lot of kids addicted to. And even in my second family, I rarely remember us drinking anything but water. Like, it was all water, and it was like water from the sink, Stillwasser. Like I said, with my first family, it was mainly like what is it called? Mineral Wasser. Yeah, mineral Wasser. So it's like water was just the main thing. And there was sometimes like where I remember the dad, he brought out the apple juice, and the mom was like, no, not today. And he's like, okay. Like, they literally were just like, he's like, we don't want our kids addicted to sugar. And it was very evident from like seeing it with their kids. And then they grow up, and like I said, with my ex, it was the same thing where it was just like, okay, so I don't really eat a lot of sugar. I don't eat a lot of things that are not healthy for me. So you have like, they teach their kids to eat really well, so that when they're adults, it's like, yeah, I can't eat a whole lot. I don't want to eat a lot of sugar. It's there. They have that habit because it's been instilled in them as kids. So, I will just say, like, well, main thing is I actually, like I said, I got used to it, because after like months of being there, it's just like you get used to eating certain things, drinking certain things. When I got to the US, it was like the first thing I said is, Dad, I want a soda, because that was the one thing I did not drink. You had like apple soda, but still it was like, I need something that's like, I just am craving something like with some carbonated sugar. And now I'm kind of reacculturated back to my own culture. But sometimes the one thing I think I really miss the most is the food, because like I said, bread. Like, I go to the grocery store now and I'm like, these like sliced loaves of bread, like, it's not the same. And it was the same thing with cheese. You would find different cheeses. You could find like creamy cheese you could spread onto your bread. I miss the variety because I actually was very accustomed to things that I liked. And so when I go to the bakery section in the grocery store, it's like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It just really isn't. So I would just say overall, I think that if you're a really big person that's like really big on food, I really would strongly suggest that Germany is a very good place to go. Anywhere in Germany, I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, I will just say that every part of Germany is different. Because when I got to Germany, I actually bought this puzzle at one of the Christmas markets, the Weihnachtsmarkt. And every region, every Bundesland or state is going to be different. In terms of like food, could possibly be with food or what they normally eat, and so you'll find different things. One of the things, actually, now that I mention it, is down here, Bayern, where the capital is München. That's basically where all the traditional like stereotypes come from, especially because they're also close to Österreich, Austria. So that's where you'll hear about like Oktoberfest, Lederhosen, and all of the stereotypes. Bayern. Everybody always says, "Oh no, that's Bayern." Like I was like, "Oh yeah, like everyone here, they're like, yeah, it's Bayern. That's where all the stereotypes come from." So I was basically in Celle here, which is like close to Hanover, which is the capital of that state, in the Niedersachsen Bundesland, and then I also was like right just above here in Duisburg, which was like right above the capital, which is Düsseldorf. And I've been to Düsseldorf as well, so if you really are into fashion, that's actually a really great place to go. And I really enjoyed it. I also went to Ostsee, the East Sea, and that area right there, very, very beautiful. So, food-wise, I will just say every Bundesland is going to be different, and in terms of food, but I really recommend that you go. If you really love bread, if you are not like gluten-free, or you're not, I would just want to say, because like, or vegetarian, because that's the main part of your diet that I've seen. So so thank you so much for watching. I hope it's helpful, and please support our Learn As You Go campaign, which is going on through the summer, so that we can raise money for study abroad scholarships, so we can give hopefully one of you the potential to go abroad, so that you guys can have your own experiences. And we'll talk to you soon. See you next time. Hey everyone, it's Jazz here. It is the second year of the Learn As You Go campaign. It will be launching this year, the first day of summer. And throughout the entire summer season, we're raising money to support foreign language education within the general education system. We're here to help businesses and professionals who need resources to expand into global opportunities. And then also helping us build our scholarship fund to give opportunities for students to study abroad and to experience what it's like to learn about things that they like, as well as using languages that they have learned. So if you would like to support, please visit our website at languageandpeople.org/LAYG. Help us get you more connected to the world and the people that are in it, of course.